So, hello and welcome everyone to another episode in All About Football. And the La Liga season has started. Barcelona defeated Mallorca by 3 goals to nil, and it was a good outing for Barcelona. But Hansi Flick was not happy with the team's performance. He said that the team performed at 50%, 60% as compared to what they did in the previous season, and that is not acceptable. Well, there were ups and downs in the game. The second half was definitely boring, but the problem lies is there a defensive problem still persisting at Barcelona? And in this video, we will discuss about the same. So without any further ado, let's dive deep into it. Well, if we talk about the first issue, it's considering the offside trap. Now, we all know that last season, the offside trap was all down to the brilliance of Inigo Martinez and the intelligence he had. Of course, Hansi Flick did play a role, and he was the coach, and he brought that offside trap. But and I won't take credit away from Pau Cubarsi, Balde, Kounde, Eric Garcia. They were fantastic. But it was Inigo Martinez, and that was the reason why he was called Mr. Offside, because he was the one who led our backline when they have to make the offside trap, when they have to not make the offside trap. So his role was quite vital, and we saw it in our first game as well in the 2025-26 season. How much do we miss Inigo Martinez? Well, if we talk about the offside trap that we created this season in the first game against Mallorca, it was just two offsides, as you can see on the screen. It was just two offsides in 2025-26, but as compared to 24-25, it was three offsides for Mallorca when they played at Montjuic Stadium, where we won by 1 goal to nil thanks to Dani Olmo. And when we played them away from home, it was 11 offsides for Mallorca. So you can see the difference, because in that game it was Inigo Martinez who played, and that is the reason why we created 11 offsides, as you can see on the screen. And at home we created three offsides, but this time it was just two offsides. We could create just two offsides, and we know there were instances where they opened us, where Mallorca did manage to open us, and that is not a good sign. Well, if we talk about the Inter Milan second leg, we compare our season, this season, the 2025-26 season, we will, of course, we do not want to repeat what happened with us in the Inter Milan game. We saw, because we were exposed, we conceded like 7 goals in total. The aggregate score was 7-6. So we conceded 7 goals, and that is just not acceptable for a team like Barcelona. It shows that there were defensive frailties, and we can't accept going forward this season especially. But when we talk about the first leg, the XG, the expected goals for both the teams, like for Barca as well, it was 1.36, and for Inter Milan it was 0.9. So 1.36, we failed in the attack as well. We managed to score 3 goals, which of course beats our XG. But as you can see, Inter Milan had 0.9 XG. That means they shouldn't have scored 3 goals. How did they manage to score 3 goals? It was because of a failure in defense. Now, I won't say that it was the failure of Inigo Martinez and Pau Cubarsí. Of course, the Inter team, and they started on the front foot, and we were a bit complacent, and that was the reason why we conceded 2 goals in the opening, in the first half itself. But if we talk about the second leg, the XG for Inter Milan, it was 2.28, which they managed to beat. They scored 4 goals, and for us it was 2.8. So of course we were also close. We scored 3 goals in the away leg as well. But the point to note is that in the first leg, Inter Milan considered 5 offsides and Barca considered 0. Whereas in the second leg, Inter conceded 9 offsides and we just considered 2. So, of course, our game, Inter's defense was not based on the offside trap, but our defense was. So, in total, we caught them offsides 14 times. In that, Inigo Martinez's contribution was, of course, 5 plus the 5 he had 10, and Araujo just 4. So Inigo Martinez, I'm saying that he was the reason why Barcelona were so good in the offside trap. And for Araujo to come in and try to replace, it will take some time. You can't just expect Araujo to come in and replicate the same, emulate the same what Inigo Martinez did in the backline. It's just not possible, because offside trap, that It is a special trait a defender has, and it comes from experience. Pau Kubarsi isn't that experienced, and we don't have a defender that experienced. Eric Garcia, of course, he does have experience. Kounde as well, but they don't know the offside trap. It requires intelligence, and it was Inigo Martinez. So question rises: is Araujo the issue? Should we drop Araujo now? I don't think we should. We should drop Araujo because if we talk about the performance the at home when we defeated Mallorca 1-0 last season, Inigo Martinez and Araujo were the centre back pairing, and the rating was 7.6 and 7.4, and that is why it was just three offsides in that game as well, because it was Araujo. I think he's not that capable to build the offside trap. If we talk about the away fixture where we defeated Mallorca by 5 goals to 1, the defensive pairing for us was Pau Cubarsi and Martinez, and that is why there was 11 offsides in that game. But if we talk about the away fixture that we faced them this season in the 2025-26 season, it was Araujo and Pau Cubarsi. And one more thing to notice here is that Pau Cubarsi plays from his right leg. His dominant leg is the right leg. He isn't a left-footed one. So Inigo Martinez used to play as the left LCB, the left center back, and we don't have him. So Pau Cubarsi is still settling in that position. So I feel that Araujo and Pau Cubarsi need some time. I'm not saying to drop Araujo. I don't think he is the issue. It's too early to say that he is the issue, but there is defensive frailties. And if we continue like that, if we do not grow, we will face difficulties in the Champions League, because the Champions League is the main motive for Barcelona this season. It has got to be. And if going forward, if we talk about how Mallorca opened us, because we know that our offside trap was beaten by Mallorca. They did open us numerous times. There were instances in the first half before they went 2 men down. They tried to open us and they were quite successful. But the reason why they couldn't do is, if you would see uh, this example of them, he played the long ball and then it went towards the left hand side. You can see a runner here who made the run behind Eric Garcia, and then a slight cut. He was in the channel. They passed to him. He is free. And now you can see why Araujo is so vital for us. Of course, he's not that good in offside trap, and that is the reason why I'm saying he should not be dropped. Is the reason why, because when he gets the ball here, um, he manages to close because of his space, because of his physique, and that is the reason the Mallorca attack goes to waste. So Araujo's pace and physical presence denies the pass from the left, which could have been a goal scoring opportunity for Mallorca. Well, if we talk about this scene too, here we can see that our attacking press was beaten once again by Mallorca, and they managed to open us up. And when they tried to play those 1-2 passes, they managed to find their player on the left hand side. It was a good pass, and then they easily opened us. Here we are opened up again. But when the ball was played through, it was Araujo's pace that managed to get to the ball first. So once again, Araujo saved the day for us, and Araujo thrives in these kind of situations where he can use his build and pace. And if we compare him with Inigo Martinez in these kind of situations, Inigo used to go into the tackle early. He used to commit himself, which numerous times he saved us. We know the example against Mbappe as well, where he managed to get the ball out, but there were instances where he couldn't match the pace. If we talk about one of those instances, one of the big games that we played last season, it came against Atletico Madrid. This was the counter attack where they scored the first goal. Of course, in here, it wasn't more of Inigo Martinez's problem. It was because of Pau Cubarsi's issue. Pau Cubarsi didn't track back. But if you see, the pass was rolled in by Griezmann towards the uh, right hand side to Simeone. Simeone got the ball. He cut back inside, and here you can see that Inigo Martinez committed too early. He thought the ball will be played in the front, and rather it was played behind. And Julian Alvarez was in that position, and he managed to score. Not much of an Inigo Martinez problem. It was more about Pau Kubarsi, but still, this was reason why we conceded that goal. I think in this situation, if there would have been Araujo, he would have saved the day once again for us, because he thrives in these kind of situations. Could have he could have already put in his foot when the pass was played, or he could have closed the gap early because of his pace, because of his build, and because he's still young. Well, if we talk about the second goal that we conceded against Atletico in the 4-2 game, it was once again on the left hand side. Sorloth was behind Inigo Martinez. Inigo Martinez in that situation didn't even check behind where exactly was Sorloth. He was more focused on the ball. The pass was played. Inigo Martinez was already up front. He couldn't do anything about the pass, and that is Inigo Martinez's problem. So the pass was easily played to Sorloth, and Sorloth scored the goal. In these kind of situations, it is Araujo that thrives the most. And I feel that Araujo in these kind of style is much more adapt as compared to the offside trap. So there is a system that um, Hansi Flick did bring to our team, and that was it. It's the 3-5-2 system. We will come back to it later, but I just want to talk about the scene three that Barcelona conceded against Mallorca. If you can just notice this, the ball was in the air, and you can see Araujo and Cubarsi in the same position. Now, this is Cubarsi's mistake, and that is why I'm saying this is a defensive issues at Barcelona, because Cubarsi doesn't play on the left hand side. He was more on the right hand side in the last season, and he used to play the ball from his right foot. He's dominant on his right foot, and when the ball is in the air, it's not here. When the ball is played, Muruki has made the run. Now, where should our defender? Where should Cubarsi be? He is playing on the LCB position. He should be marking Muriqi. Where is he? He is with Araujo. And that is the reason we got opened up. You can see both the defenders now in the same line. Muriqi quite open. The ball is falling. And it was down to John Garcia's quick thinking that he came forward, earned the foul as well, gave the player red as well, and won the ball as well. So it was all down to John Garcia. But here, Cubarsi still, because he's still adapting to playing on the LCB position, is not yet adapt. He's still young, and that shows that he's not that experienced. He's 18 years old, so you can't expect him to be that experienced. So in our defensive line, we need someone who can take up that responsibility, who can take up that leadership. Inigo Martinez did in the previous season. Now we have to move on, and we want someone who can take this responsibility. And I think Araujo has what it takes. He's the captain as well. He has what it takes, and he should take up the responsibility. And that is why Hansi Flick wants the club to register Gerard Martin as quickly as possible, because Gerard Martin plays from his left. He is dominant on his left foot. We already saw those two great deliveries he made in the Inter game, away game, and we managed to score and we managed to equalize. But I also genuinely feel he's not good at the LCB position. His physique is not that good. He's not that intelligent as well, and he's beaten quite easily. So I don't think he's still ready for the LCB position, but for squad depth, I think he is necessary. So that is why Flick is trying for Martin, and Flick was trying Martin in that position, Gerard Martin, because maybe he doesn't have the physicality, not the pace. But when La Liga, those teams which play in a low block, when the season progresses, and the teams which are already out of the competition, then they will play against Barcelona. They will usually adapt to this kind of formula where they usually do the low block, and that is when we will require a player who can provide those balls. And Gerard Martin is a great asset, is a definitely great asset for Barcelona to be playing from the left foot, and he is dominant on his left, and he can provide those balls. We've already seen his quality. So I think because he's a lefty and he can play alongside Pau Kubarsi, that is the reason why Hansi Flick wants him in the team, wants him registered. More so, he wants him registered over Rooney and Rooney Barja and over Chesney. So that tells that Hansi Flick really wants that squad depth, really wants a team to progress, because even a slight mistake, of course, it won't affect our La Liga campaign. But Champions League, you cannot make a single mistake. We already did in the Inter game, and we faced it very badly. We didn't cope with it, and we conceded. So I genuinely don't want that to happen again. Well, if we talk about the 3-5-2 system, and it is a new system for Barcelona, but the 3-5-2 system is such a great tactical flexibility and I would say it's a boon for Araujo especially, because in a 3-5-2 system, if you talk about Balde, he has the freedom to go forward. And when it becomes three, you have Araujo in the middle. And then you have Pau Cubarsi and you have Eric Garcia. Now, why I'm saying Eric Garcia is against Mallorca, we saw that Eric Garcia was a surprise for all of us. We thought Kounde will be the one who will be playing, but it was Eric Garcia. Why it was Eric Garcia? Because Eric Garcia is a ball playing, is an elite ball playing defender, and that so is Pau Cubarsi. Araujo isn't. So to compensate Araujo's weakness, Hansi Flick made this system so that Pau Cubarsi and Eric Garcia will be near to him, and when he is isolated or when he has the ball, he can pass to them who are in close proximity to him, and then they can play the ball forward. So a 3-5-2 system works very well on the weakness or on Araujo's weakness. Now, so there were some complaints and there were some suggestions by some of the Barca fans that why not play Cubarsi, Kounde, and Eric Garcia on the right? Why not play Cubarsi and Kounde as our main CBs? I don't think that will work, because what does La Liga team does is when their gameplay doesn't move forward, they usually play long balls, and Kounde at such times is not good in aerial duels, nor is that pacey as compared to Araujo. Araujo is better all day than Kounde in these kind of situations. I think that Kounde should be on the right. It should be Araujo in the center, and the 3-5-2 system, especially against La Liga teams, against a team who usually sees a low block, who usually uh, maintain, who are compact and who usually play in a low block system, who has defenders behind. We can adapt to the 3-5-2 system, because in the 3-5-2 system we can also open up their defense as well, when we will have more players forward, when we can play vertically. So that is the reason why the 3-5-2 system works pretty well. Now there is another argument by Barcelona fans, is why not play Kounde over Eric Garcia. Now I have given you one reason why Eric Garcia was played. I think we cannot completely just discard Kounde. No, there is no chance we can do that, because against teams like Real Madrid, against teams in the Champions League, it is Kounde who will help us, not Eric Garcia, because Eric Garcia is good against La Liga teams who play in a low block. Kounde, on the other hand, if I talk about both of their strength, Eric Garcia, world class passing, quick decision making, and he is reliable in possession. Whereas Kounde, he has the tackling, he has the strength, and he has that ball winning ability. So question arises, when should we use Eric Garcia and when should we use Kounde? So if Barca needs a high play and quick transitions, quick passing, then Eric Garcia could come in, because Eric Garcia is great in that. He can keep possession, and he also belongs to the Spanish system, so he knows how to play. So he can effectively move the ball into the right zones and he can progress our play. If we talk about Kounde, he can give us top quality in duels, in 1v1 situations, and he also tracks back. He is quite good in those kind of situations where you need physicality, and in a game which is end to end, like the Inter game or the Real Madrid game or the Atletico game, where the game is end to end, it's constantly attack defense attack defense attack defense, is when Kounde will matter a lot. So there we can play Kounde, but Kounde over Araujo on the CB position, I don't think so. It should be Araujo, because Araujo is better in those kind of situations. But as I said, there are defensive frailties still at Barcelona. We saw in the Mallorca game, just like I explained in the video as well. There were instances, those three scenes where we saw a team is still adapting. It's still the first game, so I won't criticize them much, but we have to improve. This season, we have to win the Champions League. Our main goal is the Champions League, and we can't let it slip. So this was all about the defensive frailties, the defensive problems Barcelona has, and how they can improve. You can also let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think there are any other defensive problems in Barcelona? Do let me know in the comment section. And if you found this video interesting, if you found this video a little bit knowledgeable about Barcelona and how Barcelona shape in this 2025-26 season, don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel All About Football. This is Tavares Varsi from All About Football, signing off. Thank you.